I love studying, and here's how you can too. Tip 1. Efficiency is overrated. Let me explain. We all know how to study the most 100% torturously efficiently. No music, no fancy pens, no distractions, only hard questions, only focus. Of course, it's good to optimize how you learn, but here's a secret. Some inefficient revision is better than doing no perfect and optimized revision. In other words, you need to lose the perfectionist mentality that makes you believe that studying is suffering. Of course, you need to get the balance between blasting pop songs while you doodle and flip through the textbook and actually learning. But there are so many ways to make learning fun without learning less. And one of the best is romanticization. Tip 2. Romanticization. It's easy to create an atmosphere where learning is quote-unquote romanticized without making a trade-off. Firstly, stationery. You don't have to spend tons of money to cultivate a pencil case that makes you want to open it and start working. Try to upgrade your everyday pen so that little tasks are a little more fun. I love using a fountain pen because writing is so smooth and I feel like a famous poet living a troubled existence instead of a struggling GCSE student. Also, cultivate colours. The best way to keep your pencil case and notes neat is by relying on a colour scheme. This is genuinely a good study tip as well because then you start dual linking and building those connections. And I've talked about this in a previous video, but it took me from I don't want to study, my notes are ugly, to I'm ready to grind, look how cute these are. And keeping a colour scheme does not have to be very strict and it does not have to be expensive because it can just rely on pens that you already have. Tip 3. Timings. There's something about the cute, carefully curated videos of students up at 5 a.m. that makes me want to work. It's all part of the vibe you build. And of course you don't have to get up at 5 a.m. By the same token, those late night study sessions have a certain feeling to them. And it's about when works for you. So if you are a morning person, then early morning study sessions are perfect. And if you are an evening person, then be a night owl. And if you're really weird and you're an afternoon person, then I guess live that. Regardless of the time, making a time for studying can make you enjoy the process more, as you don't feel like you're missing out on something else, and you build the habit, reducing any friction and discomfort that you may normally feel, and of course, romanticizing your studies. I really personally feel that a lot in the afternoon, because I just want to be like on my phone, texting my friends, chilling out, having fun instead of studying. So I feel like the morning works so perfectly for me because I've dedicated that as the time that I carve out to study, and then I don't feel any pressure to do anything else. Tip 4. Breadth and depth. I love learning English because it's exploring literature in detail, gaining understanding and context on masterpieces that I've read and adored or have seen from afar and finally had the chance to relish. I love computing because I want to know why everything works. I hate to press a button and just accept that my phone turns on. I like making things myself, the satisfaction when a line of code runs or a project works. Those are just a few of the subjects I love, and just a taste of why. But in order to have this passion, I've explored the breadth and depth of the subjects, not just my bread and butter classroom education that's not always presented so that you leave invigorated. I explore subjects like a child. I try to grasp onto some of that childish love of exploring and asking questions that truly makes us love our subjects and not just feel like we need to study for exams. Which brings me on to tip 5. Fight the system. Now, I don't want to make this sound like some kind of dystopian battle between you and the education system, because I truly believe that for a lot of the time, the education system is truly helpful. But at the same time, the way that things have to be taught to you, with tests and pieces of homework and deadlines, and that kind of endless burden of work, can be the most major thing that makes students fall out of love of learning. So even though you don't have to fight the system, because the system is trying to help you to enjoy learning and to leave school loving your subject, you have to fight back against all of the things that make you lose your love of learning. So for example, when you get a test and you don't do as well as you want, you need to enforce a growth mindset. You need to identify the challenges that you faced in the test as to why you struggled, and then you need to file the test away and focus on those challenges. What you need to avoid is falling for the trap that so many students do of thinking, God, look at this, I'm a failure, I hate this subject, I hate learning, I don't want to study, it's a waste of my time. Which is sort of what the education system teaches us, because it's so focused on these tests. And when you receive a piece of homework that you hate, that's repetitive and boring, you need to try and frame it as a means to an end. That even though you don't necessarily see the purpose of this one specific piece of homework, it's taking you where you need to be. You're not the professor, you're not the teacher, you don't know the final aim. Everything that you do is just a little stepping stone towards finding more of a love for the subject. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope a few of the tips that I've shared have been useful for you. Make sure you don't fall out of love of learning. Try and comment below your favourite subject and all the reasons that you love it so much. Thank you. Have an awesome day.